everybody, my name is Arya.
And my name is Alex.
From Bach Bros Studio. And today, we're going to meet with Mr. Nick Kine, who is the Managing Director of Tyton Partners.
So, with that, let us welcome Mr. Kine.
Hi guys, nice to see you.
So, you are the Managing Director of Tyton Partners. Well, that sounds like a cool job. Can you share a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, of course I can. So I spend a lot of my time advising companies and investors and philanthropies on where best they might invest their money or what they might do next to help kids learn better, sometimes to make more money, sometimes to do both.
How do you think technology and AI play a role in today's education, especially in regards to removing the equity gap?
It's a really great question. I've been working in educational technology for 25 years. And that's a question that we've been asking for all of that 25 years. And I think the answer is very, very mixed, actually. Without any access to technology, clearly technology is not going to make any difference to people. So if there are people who can't get access to the technology, then clearly technology is going to make no difference to the equity gap at all. So there are some really fundamental, basic things that need to be in place, which often aren't in place even in today's world, especially, not necessarily in the United States of America, but especially around the world, which make it impossible for technology to solve the equity gap, right? So there's some fundamental stuff that we really need to have in place before technology can make a difference. So that's the first thing to say, I think. The second thing to say is, what gap are we talking about? And what gap are we talking about for when? So there was our current education systems around the world are mostly organized around passing tests in things like English and math, and you know this, right? In English and math and science and all of those important subjects, but they don't necessarily value or teach some of the skills that we need for the 21st century, particularly in the age of AI. And so we're in an ironic situation in a way where the more AI that we expose kids to, sometimes the less we are giving them the skills that they need for the 21st century. Because I would argue that the really, really important things that we need for the 21st century are actually the human skills. So what you guys are doing now, right? Talking to someone, communicating with someone in real life. And I would argue that AI doesn't necessarily yet, we don't know, but yet help humans develop those skills. And so there's a really interesting man called Mike Tricano, who's a friend of mine, who might be around somewhere. And he says that the really interesting thing is that the equity gap may end up in a situation where really privileged kids have access to a human, not access to a computer. And I think that's a really provocative thing to think about. So, I think that the other thing to say is, look, here at this conference today, there are a couple of really significant books that have been published in the last few months by three authors. One is written by Jenny Anderson and Rebecca Winthrop. It's all about how to parent better in this age of AI, and that's all about relationships. There's another book by a lady called Isabel Howe, who's also speaking at the conference today, and that's all about relationships. So I think that one of the really interesting things we're seeing is that if we're talking about an equity gap, about how to prepare kids for the 21st century when our human skills are even more important than our academic skills, then actually I don't think AI can solve that equity gap right now.
What advice would you give to young students like us who are literally growing up with technology and AI together, and how they can maximize the benefit it provides for us?
Depends. Do you know what you want to do? Do you know what makes you happy? Do you know the things that really make you thrive as a human being? Because that's the thing to think about. Because I think that the technology can help you in loads of different ways, but it depends on who you want to be and what you want to do. And so if there are things that you want to do, if you wanted to learn about advanced astrophysics, it might be super helpful because you could find out that stuff way more quickly than you would be able to do before. You might even find a course on it and might even get the AI to make you a course. But if you wanted to be somebody that looked after animals in a zoo, right now it might be a lot less helpful because it can't really teach you much about that. It can teach you the theory, but it can't teach you the practice. So I think it's really about what do you want to use that tool for and how.
Thank you so much. We love having this exciting conversation with you.
Lovely to talk to you both.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. So our company, Bach Bros Studio, we are on a mission to provide the access and the application of complex research to the general public so that everybody can benefit from these valuable research findings. And hopefully we can remove the equity gap in education because we recently started giving seminars to students in New York City public schools where we encourage them that with technology, a growth mindset, and grit, that anybody will be able to achieve their goals and become successful. And we invite you all to check out our work at our business website at www.bachbrosstudio.com and also to follow us on all of our social media channels at Bach Bros Studio. Thank you again for joining us today. Bye! Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Good stuff.